Good morning, Chip. How are you?
Good morning. Very well. How are you?
Very good. So Joe Castello will give you the comment.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone. Hello and welcome. Chip, welcome to EPAR Trade Industry Week. I'm super excited to speak with you about this Nitro Rallycross, kind of a modern creation, right? A modern motorsport creation that has really taken off. Travis Pastrana, the Nitro Circus, the evolution. Take it from there because you guys have got some big announcements that you've made and your future looks very bright.
Well, thank you very much. And first of all, thanks for having us to the table here. Appreciate it. Great program you guys have put together. Looking through what you've done the last few days, a lot of friends and a lot of great comments. So we appreciate everything that you do. Thank you. Yeah, just a little introductory portion regarding Nitro Rallycross. Rallycross as a sport has been around in Europe for quite a while. But Travis came to it about 4.5 years ago, and kind of wanted to kind of inject some nitroness in it. You know, for your viewers out there that are familiar with Nitro Circus. Nitro Circus is kind of a freestyle motocross, stunt show that travels around the world, and bringing that kind of that level of entertainment and that level of commitment that it takes by in that case the riders, and in this case the drivers, is really how we've kind of gone almost beyond Rallycross now. The big jumps, huge jumps. We have cars jumping, over 120 feet through the air, with gap jumps over past gap jumps. It's short form racing. Our longest race is 6 laps, but we have a lot of heats. So it's a head to head. You get to see all your favorite drivers racing against each other. Racing in relevant nameplates. But the big thing we've done, for this season, and it's been a big challenge technically, is introducing electric vehicles. And we built our own electric vehicle in conjunction with First Corner and QEV. In true Nitro sense, it's over 1,000 horsepower. It's all-wheel drive. It's so one of the fastest electric race cars in the world.
That is amazing. I love the short form aspect of it. Is very in step with the modern universe. The attention span of folks has gotten a little bit shorter, and so many short heats versus one long event is interesting. I do want to ask you about, what do you consider those the only things that make it different from some of the legacy series in motorsports? Just talk about what sets the Rallycross apart in terms of, the character and the people who are interested.
Yeah, it's different in a lot of ways. So short form, as you say, it's almost like a video game playing out in real life. That was part of the idea when we really started to look at Rallycross and say, how are we gonna modernize this thing? What are we gonna do differently for it? And it is doing just that. It's cars flying through the air. It's almost as visual chaos when you're a fan. From a fan perspective, we like for the fans in nearly all of our venues to be able to see the entire race. They can see the entire track. It's not just a race car going by and then they wait 2.5 minutes for it to come by again. They can see everything that's happening. Rallycross has something interesting in it called a Joker lap, which is a lap that you have to take once per race, and it's very strategic about when you do it. It can be longer, it can be shorter, but it's constantly kind of changing up the field. But in addition to that, right down into our telecast, we really try to add a lot more entertainment to it, make it more entertaining, make it more human, make it more behind the scenes. We have a huge digital audience, and we want that digital audience to feel like they have the super VIP credential when they're at the race. So we go, you know, into the garages, we go into the strategy sessions, really kind of giving them a behind the scenes look. It's kind of like Drive to Survive live, if you will. We work really hard in our telecast to make that happen.
Excellent. No, it's and that's what people want. They want to feel connected. They want to go behind the scenes. And yeah, Drive to Survive has certainly proven that. But why go electric? Here on in our motorsports world, it's kind of a friction point. We all see it happening. It's happening, but there are some who, you know, kicking and screaming. They're not going to do it. Others embracing it very easily. But what's your reasoning behind it? Give us some education on that. Why has Nitro Rallycross decided to embrace the electrics?
Yeah, it was actually it's really simple. For us, it was the we were looking at it, we're like, how could we build the fastest car possible? Rallycross, you know, as we were just talking about, it's short form, so it's short heats. So this works out perfectly for electric vehicles. So in other words, they can do a short heat, they can go on the charger, they can do another short heat, they can go on the charger, and we can have, you know, a huge amount of power. As I said, they're over 1,000 horsepower. So that in addition to where the industry is going, seemed to be a really perfect fit, and that's why when we built our new cars, they look like the next generation of electric vehicles you're going to see, CUVs and small SUVs.
Excellent. No, that is cool. Do you feel like you're attracting a different audience than, like, I hate saying like legacy motorsports, right? But you guys are relatively new. You've got this vibe. I want to combine, you said video games. I'm thinking X Games crowd, but racing. I know Travis is a perfect example of that. Are you able to capture that new audience? Tell me about the people who are coming to your events.
Yeah, absolutely. We skew much younger than most motorsports. It's kind of a crossover between action sports, and that is one of the reasons why our sport looks the way our sport looks. Number one, really fast pace, as we talked about. It's short attention span theater. It's a lot more irreverent. It's a lot more, it's a pretty loose show, and we do that because we want, and the pacing of the show is also much quicker. It's almost a TikTok pacing, because that's where our audience is. So we're really trying to intersect with our audience. And I'll go back to what we were talking about a little bit before. When we decided to go electric, our positioning is quite a bit different, in that there are electric series out there. You know, Formula E does a great job, Extreme E does a great job. And they're very, very committed to sustainability in what they're doing, and they're doing a great job at talking to the people that's what they wake up, they live, and they breathe it. We said, hey, we want to talk to the other 95% out there, that maybe it's not their top priority. Maybe they don't really care if they're driving a combustion vehicle or an electric vehicle, and wanted to open their eyes up to electric. And for no other reason than, hey, this thing is really, really fast. It's cool. You know, as gas prices go up, it's less expensive. It's less expensive to run, and that's really where our positioning is.
Excellent. Well, you know, environmentally conscious in any way, it's I think it's important, and you guys have kind of got it factored in. We got a question coming in, actually, Chip, and I want to just kind of throw it in right here in the middle. Out there, they want to know about, do you have all the rallycross tracks in the US that you want, and how does a track bid for future races for their track? That's, I think, an interesting question as you guys try to grow. How does that work? Like, where you do this and where you want to in the future?
Yeah, no, it's a great question, and Travis is kind of a caged animal when it comes to tracks. It is a key differentiator for us, and we are all ears and want to talk to you know, property owners and track operators about the potential of Nitro Rallycross coming there. the interesting thing about what we do is it doesn't take a huge piece of land. So we're very interested, and they can reach out directly to me, and at Nitro Rallycross at CPANCO, PANKOW, at Nitro Rallycross, at thrill1.com, and happy to have a conversation. But we're always looking for great new venues.
Excellent, excellent. And the future, where would you say you are in your arc? Relatively new, but a lot of growth potential. Talk a little bit about the future of Nitro Rallycross and what you hope to achieve.
As you say, we are relatively new. We did a couple demonstration events, and we're halfway through our second season. Right now, we're just over a year old. We've had a huge growth curve. And really pleased with it. We had at the last race in Phoenix, Chase Elliott from NASCAR came out and raced with us. Daytona 500 winner Austin Cindric also came out and raced with us. What we do is it's as a former racing driver, it's they get to do all the things that you always want to do in a race car, but you can't. You can drive it super sideways. You can kind of bang the person side of you out of the way. You can take huge jumps. There are a lot of different, one of the things that Travis really works on with us is designing the track so there are alternate lines. There are several different lines through a corner, kind of using progressive banking like you'd see in motocross and things like that. So it creates a lot more action. So these are all things that we'll continue to work on. I mean, we'll have a big announcement coming up on a new track that we're working on for next season, which will take it to the next level. We keep trying to go to the next level, and that's why I'm really thankful for the question that came in. We're looking to do a few more of those next level circuits out there in the coming years. So the future is definitely bright. We have a lot of interest from manufacturers now. And our goal is to be the leading electric series, first in the US, and then there's no reason why we wouldn't take that global if the formula is working.
Excellent. What's it like working with Travis? He is a bit of a genius, a savant, whatever. He's been kind of right on the cutting edge of so many different things, from call them like just extreme stunts, extreme sports, the transition from action sports to motorized action sports. Really, he was on the cutting edge of all of that. This past year, he drove Nitro Top Fuel Dragster for the first time. That was pretty big in our community out there. Do you have to rein him in with some of the concepts and ideas? I would love to hear about that working relationship.
All the time. He's a maniac. It is, but it has been, it's been kind of one of the best collaborations of my career. He, number one, is incredibly passionate about the sport and growing it. His ideas on track design are really next level. I worked with a lot of track designers, and it's been really terrific. And what you see is probably what you see in our events right now is probably about 30% of what Travis wants to do. We look forward to showing you over time the next 70%. We just have to make sure the world's ready for it.
Yeah, exactly. Gentlemen out there, would love for you to repeat your email address, and why don't you just tick through. We're about halfway through, and we'll continue to solicit questions from folks out there, and I've got a couple myself. But why don't you give that contact information for people out there who want to at least check it out and contact you?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. I appreciate that. I'll do it, and I'll get it right this time too. It's CPANCO, so CPANKOW at Thrill1, which is THRILLONE, all one word, .com.
Excellent. So you got to tell us like an idea that you couldn't allow, Travis' idea that was not viable. Like that, I would love to know that, right? As you're brainstorming what's possible. I love the Joker lap idea. That is very video game. You got to take it one time at some point in the race. Do you do it early? Do you do it in the middle? Do you do it on the last lap? I've seen some of this stuff. And it's the gamification, something that NASCAR did with their stages, right? Video gamification, because everybody plays video games and they understand it. To incorporate it into actual live motorsport is amazing. But give me an idea that just wasn't viable just yet.
So as you know, Travis has raised NASCAR, and we'll talk about things like the banking at Talladega, which I think is 31 degrees. I'm sure some of the NASCAR fans out there might correct me. And he's like, that's nothing. We need to go much bigger than that. At 31 degrees, you can't even walk up it. If you tried, he'd love to go to 40 degrees, 45 degrees. And we weren't ready for that. But I think with this announcement that's coming up, you're going to see us doing just that with some massive banking at a new track that we're looking to construct.
Well, Chip, it's amazing to hear you say that. Some of us grew up watching, the Speed Racer cartoons and whatnot, cars driving on, 45-degree banking and those things that were just part of imagination are now becoming real. Then again, you go back and you look at some of the banking at Monza, the old school Monza, how things that were old can become new once again, as we're getting back to that, right? It used to be giant banking and now it is less, and you're talking about bringing it back to a higher level. I think that would be amazing.
Yeah, no, for sure. The next level of tracks, we're really playing around with several different things. Configuration obviously is always one of them. Banking is another one. So we're gonna push some traditional limits there. Jumps, something that we've done quite a bit with. Very, very big jumps, under over jumps. One of the things about Rallycross also is that it typically runs on a mixture of surfaces, so on dirt and tarmac. So you'll have pavement and you'll have dirt sections, and we're going to start to experiment a little bit with the surfaces we run with as well. Not all pavements are created equal, and not all pavements have the same amount of grip. And we think that we can have some fun with that as well. People love seeing cars slide. They love seeing car control. They like to see drivers work for it. In 5 days, Travis is launching a new Gymkhana video. Keep your eyes peeled for that. Sorry for the commercial, but it's all about car sliding. We're gonna continue to explore those limits and explore those boundaries. So people can see what's possible. It's like I was watching just the video from our last race about a week and a half ago in Phoenix, and seeing the cars take the start, and you have 8 cars go into the first corner, all at huge drift angles, door handle to door handle. It almost looks choreographed. And from a telecast standpoint, we worked really hard to kind of come up with new ways of doing that. We were the first ones to do 2 live drones, going out there full FPV drones, again, to give the viewer the best seat in the house is really the goal.
Randall's out there. He says there's no form of racing that couldn't be improved with a jump, and I got to say, I tend to agree. Talk a little bit about that, Chip, the broadcast of Nitro Rallycross. Where and when and how can most people connect? I'm sure you've got a social media presence as well, but just talk about how important that has been. And I think you mentioned it is live streamed, but talk about where folks can see and connect.
Yeah, we have a package. We have a full package with in the US with NBC. So you can see it on CNBC. You can search CNBC. You can also watch it live streaming and on demand on Peacock. In addition to that, you can see clips and full races on YouTube at Nitro Rallycross. And also check out nitrorallycross.com. We're very active on social, of course. That's kind of our space. So we're always putting up kind of fun new clips and new announcements. Insta and all platforms really.
Excellent. I've been thinking, since you started off, we were starting off talking about electric and why that was so beneficial to you in this specific space. The short races, powerful cars, lots of torque. But I also wonder, lack of engine sound, typically a negative for most performance-minded people. But in your environment, the fact that it's not loud for the neighbors wherever you happen to be running these events, maybe in more densely populated areas. I wonder how that factors into the calculus with the environmental situation. And I'll give you a personal example. I live in Miami, Florida, where we just had our first Formula One race.
Mhm.
I went there and it's at a stadium, right? Joe Robbie Stadium, now Miami Dolphins Stadium, Hard Rock Stadium, the Autodrome in Miami. But if they had the screaming V8s of the past, as much as we loved them, there would be no chance that the race would have happened because it would have just been too loud for the neighbors in that community. There's just no way it could have been pulled off. Does the electric help you go to places with this sport that perhaps you couldn't if you were using internal combustion?
Yes. Yeah, our first race of the season this season was in England, at Lydden Hill in England, and they have a very, very strict noise ordinance, and it helped us there. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I wish our car sounded like 17,000 RPM V12s. So we're still experimenting and trying different things. With that, for the fans, and doing quite a bit with music, doing quite a bit with kind of the lead up. So there are audible cues. They know that the Group E cars, that's what we call them, the Group E cars are coming up. We're getting and we're getting there. When we decided to go to electric, we knew that would be a challenge. We knew that there'd be several challenges. And again, that's what took us back to, is like, these things have to be faster than anything people have ever seen before. That helps a lot. And the racing has been incredibly well received. We actually race in other classes at a Nitro event with internal combustion. We do it in a responsible way using biofuels, but we want people to see the difference. We want to say, here's a very, very fast internal combustion rallycross supercar, and then the next thing that comes out is an electric vehicle, and it's visibly much, much faster. So that's really helped people. As I said, I'm kind of trying to speak to those 95% of the people that maybe when they showed up at the race, they weren't thinking, hey, electric car could be cool. At least when they sit there and watch that, when they're driving home, they're like, maybe I ought to look at one of those. That's pretty cool. So that's one of the things. That's one of the things we're really looking to do, is kind of show the difference and show the performance potential. But it's been very well received. I mean, from time to time you have a hater, but we've been really, really pleased at how well the electric class has been received, and we know the reason for that is because they're pretty astounding when you watch them. They're crazy fast.
Which is what we like. We like crazy fast. First and foremost, crazy fast. Chip, anything that we didn't discuss just yet that you wanted to throw out on the table to achieve all your goals and speak to the folks out there in the EPAR trade audience?
I just, it's like anything with any motorsport. I mean, we're big supporters of all motorsport, and what we're doing is something new. As I said, it's definitely it's aimed at a younger demographic, but it's hard racing. And if you're a motorsport fan, I just urge people to check it out and see what we're up to. And the one thing I can tell you is it's kind of just the beginning. As I said, we'll kind of continue to ramp things up from a track standpoint. We've got some big names from the world of motorsport that will be driving with us next year. I mean, it's like we get phone calls from drivers from everywhere, obviously from NASCAR and from Formula One, from IndyCar, and we'll have some very some interesting names kind of battling it out there with our stars.
Excellent, Chip. Thank you very much. It's been a very interesting tour of Nitro Rallycross. I wish you the best of luck. I love the attitude and the action. As someone who watched the whole action sports thing take off and covered the X Games, to bring a little combustion or a little torque when it comes to those electric motors into it, I think it's next level. You guys are doing a great job, so thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Chip.
Registering on EPAR Trade is easy. To start, click on the Join for Free button on the homepage. First, search your company to see if it's already in our database. If you see your company on the list, click on it to select it. Then, choose Claim Company if you are one of the decision makers, an owner, marketing person, or main company contact. Or choose Join Company if you are an employee, and press Continue. If you couldn't find your company in our database, select Register a New Company. On the following page, fill out your name, email, phone number, job title, and choose a secure password. If you chose Register a New Company, you'll need to choose your business type. Select Supplier if you're looking to display products or services and connect with buyers. Choose Racing Business if you're looking to source new parts and connect with suppliers. Choose Race Team if you own or are a member of a professional race team. Then, enter your company name. Please provide a website, Facebook page, or LinkedIn if you have one, and choose to either claim or join the company. You can view and agree to our terms of use here. If you'd like to receive our weekly newsletter, choose Accept. Finally, click Register Now and your registration will be submitted for approval. An email will be sent to your inbox. Please confirm your email address and you will be approved shortly. Welcome to EPAR Trade.